If you love Texas A&M and Aggie land holds a special place in your heart, then you are really going to enjoy this episode and our conversation with Kelley Ranly. Also, if you find yourself in a chapter where you are building your career and you don't have the ability to have a horse out your back door right this minute, but you're working on it, you are going to enjoy our conversation about that phase of life. And in this podcast, we go beyond the saddle as we explore professional careers across the equine industry. I'm your host, Katie Kleinbell. Let's tack up and head out. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Saddle in our series with COWGIRL Magazine's 30 Under 30. Today, we're going to talk with Kelley Ranly of Texas. We were just talking about, before we jumped on here, how much she loves Texas and Aggie land. So you're going to get a lot of that, a big dose of that in this episode. Kelley, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you, Katie, for having me. I'm so excited. As you mentioned, crazy Aggie. You're going to hear a lot of that in the next little bit, but I'm so excited to be here, and I appreciate you having me on.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, and you should be, because you are wearing those colors every day. You are riding for the brand. Tell us what you do.
Yes, so I am currently the leadership coordinator for Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, Texas 4-H. And so my primary charge there right now is to coordinate our leadership programs. So we have about 11 multi-day leadership programs throughout the year, and then several smaller ones, and a lot of networking and things like that with our students throughout the year as well. So we stay really busy with leadership programs, but I love it. I have a really kind of interesting story of how I got here, but I'm sure we'll hit that later on. But no, I love my job, love working for A&M and Aggie through and through, and it's exciting. Every day is exciting.
I can tell that you love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I know you probably get asked this question a lot, but I think it will help to paint the picture for our listeners and honestly for me about how Texas 4-H and Texas A&M and AgriLife Extension, how are all these entities braided together?
Yes. So Texas A&M is a system, and Texas A&M AgriLife is under the Texas A&M system. So Texas 4-H is within AgriLife, which just means AgriLife is our pretty much leadership component over Texas 4-H. So they basically are just responsible for, hiring all of our people and managing all of us and things like that. And so we're just a leadership organization, youth development organization underneath AgriLife Extension. So to keep it simple, it's all one big family. And so Texas 4-H is just a small part of the AgriLife Extension family. I'm sure you've heard of extension offices in every county, most every county in Texas. And so we partner with all of those counties. I'm at the state level, so we also have a district level. So that just lots of tiers. It's like you said, very confusing for the outside person, but it's the biggest kind of message there is it's all one big family. We're all working towards the same goal, which is preparing youth to be better citizens moving forward. And so regardless of what their project area or passion is, that's our primary goal.
That was very helpful. Thank you. There's a lot of moving pieces there and a lot of terminology and all those things. Maybe this will help paint the picture too. Can you help describe those leadership programs? Like, what are some of the activities that you do, or, that kind of thing? I think that might help paint the picture also.
You bet. So the three main programs that I'm in charge of is the Texas 4-H Livestock, Equine, and Poultry Ambassador programs. And so they're all structured the same way. So we take students that are in high school. They apply for the program, get accepted. It's a pretty intense application, and it's competitive. We have a lot of kids apply and not that many that get in. But we take all of those students that get in, they'll go through a 4-day short course of their choosing. So it's either livestock, poultry, or equine, and they will go through all of the different things. So for poultry, we have all kinds of poultry science, reproduction, slaughter, all these different aspects of poultry science, and the same could be said for livestock and animal science as well. That we partner with all of our universities. So we partner with Texas Tech and West Texas A&M University. We partner with Texas A&M Kingsville, Texas A&M, of course, and then our equine ambassador program travels around. So we've been to Tarleton, West Texas A&M. We're going to Texas Tech this year, and then of course Texas A&M has hosted a few times as well. So yeah, we are crazy about taking kids that love livestock, ag, poultry science, equine science, and connecting them with the people that will get them wherever they want to be in this life. So we just, we try to expose them to as many aspects of the industry as possible through those programs. The second phase of the program is the Advocacy Academy. So they'll go to the Texas Capitol for 3 days, and they'll learn a lot about policy, media training, meet with legislative officials, elected officials, all kinds of just people within ag policy that kind of make things happen on the legislative side. And then the third trip, if you will, of the program is our international and domestic experience, depending on the year. So we've taken a group to Argentina twice, Australia once, we've been to Hawaii. We had our East Coast experience, which was Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. We took an equine ambassador group to Kentucky 1 year. So we just we plan these 10-day trips, and we take them, again, just to expose them to different aspects of the industry that they may not be, getting here in Texas. So it's really different to ranch in Hawaii than it is to ranch in Texas. So yeah, just exposing them to as many things as we can, getting them connected with all the right people, helping them to find their interest and their passion, and hopefully that'll lead them to a career in the future.
What spectacular experiences in all three of those buckets between the ambassador program, advocacy, the international travel. It sounds like, so your job, I'm guessing, is a lot of logistics, putting together those trips, making sure that you've got the right people in the right places and getting everybody ready to go. But you get to go, right? You're on these trips with them.
Oh,
How fun
yes.
is that?
Yeah, so I am a glorified event planner through and through. That is what I do, but I do get to go on the trips, and it is incredibly exhausting all summer long, but it is so much fun. So 8 of our programs happen in the summer. So between the second week of June and about the first week of August is when 7 to 8 of our programs happen, depending on the year. So it is chaos for about 2 months there, but it is so much fun. I do not sleep in my own bed ever in the summer, and summer vacations are not a thing, but what is a thing is spending an entire summer with kids that are so passionate about the industry, and they really honestly remind me of myself when I was their age, and that's kind of how I got here. So it's so fun. Every summer is just a new experience, and I love spending the time with them.
It sounds like you going through it is an experience, but also like you now coming at it from this perspective and being able to like be with those kids on this journey and through these programs, like that's a whole other experience that like is also developing and shaping you. So I imagine that every single one of those trips, you have new memories, new takeaways, new things that you want to try and do and implement in future years and in future trips. That's got to be a fun part too.
For sure. Yeah, I have loved, of course, it's for the kids and that's the goal, but I have loved getting to meet all of the different people that they're also getting to meet. Making those connections all over the United States, all over the world, has just been such a fun experience. That is one of those things you kind of forget that you're working most of the time. It's like, how do I get paid to do this? This is so much fun. That truly is my summer, and really all year long. It's a blast to be in this position.
Congratulations. That's where everybody wants to be. Well, tell us how you got here, because it sounds like you've got like the trifecta of things that you were looking for in a career. Maybe you didn't even know you were looking for them, but how in the heck did you land this awesome place?
You would be exactly right. I had no idea that I was looking for this. So like every little girl does, grew up as a crazy horse girl. I just wanted to be on a horse, and I didn't really have a reason why. My family, when I was young, didn't have horses at that time. My parents had grown up doing that, but we didn't have any at that time. So I was just crazy, wanted a horse. Ended up going to a summer camp in Fort Davis, Texas, which is the second best place on earth, second only to Aggie land, of course. And it's called Prude Ranch Summer Camp. And I went there, I think my sister and I were 9 when we went there. And that is single-handedly, I think, what started my true passion for horses. So we were campers there for, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 years. And then we were actually wranglers there. So it's a horse summer camp, and they take you up on rides through the mountains, and it's just beautiful and remote. You don't have cell service, like what every little girl would want to do, get on a horse and, and spend hours just going through the mountains. So it was fun. But I love that place. We still go back 2 or 3 times a year just to see everybody. They've become our family, and it is a blast. So, anyways, Prude Ranch started it all. And then from there, I got a horse, I think when I was maybe 10 or 11. Grew up rodeoing and showing livestock. Just enjoyed being out in the barn. Didn't ever want to be inside, really. My sister and I were homeschooled starting in 8th grade, and that allowed us to, we did an online public school, which allowed us to rodeo and show a whole lot more through high school, which was a lot of fun. And then I went to Texas A&M University for my bachelor's in animal science with a minor in business. Loved it. Got my animal science degree in 2020. Started immediately after that into my master's in 2021. I got a Master of Agribusiness. Graduated in December of 21 with that. But one big thing that I missed is I served as a Texas 4-H livestock ambassador when I was a student, a kid. So I started in 2014 when I was 15 or 16, and fell in love with the program literally at that time. So I was a kid in the program that I lead now for 3 years. Right after I graduated and went to A&M, didn't have a job or a horse my first year in college, and I was lost. I had no idea what to do, what I was doing without those things. Just felt bored, always, doing schoolwork. So I got an internship at Rodeo Austin in the spring of 2017, which was during my freshman year. And at that internship, talked with Dr. Billy Zanolini, who created the ambassador program that I was in. And he mentioned, would you want a job? And I was like, well, absolutely. I would love a job. And my sister was there also. We were identical twins, so we did everything together. So everything that I'm telling you right now, she has also done. Like the same story, which is a lot of fun. So anyways, we both got a student worker position at Texas Youth Livestock and Agriculture, which is the department I'm in within Texas 4-H. And we were in steer and heifer validation at the beginning. We stayed there for about 1.5 years and then moved into more of a leadership program assistant role. So we started to help organize the ambassador programs. And then in May of 2021, Cortland graduated and moved out, and then she went to Fort Worth for her job, and I stayed and went full-time with Texas 4-H, Texas Youth Livestock and Ag in January of 2022, and that led me here. So I'm full-time with them, have been in this position since 22, but have been working at TYLA for almost 7 years now. So it started literally when I was in school, and I went to school thinking I was going to be a vet, like most horse crazy, animal crazy kids do. I, like most people, didn't like the chemistry, but I figured that out too late. So I had to stay in the chemistry to go ahead and get the degree because it was silly to change at that point. But decided that being a vet wasn't going to be the route for me. So I was kind of up in the air, didn't really know what I wanted to do. But simultaneously had been falling in love with Extension and all of the things that we were doing with our leadership programs, and just really believed in the mission of TYLA. So when that opportunity kind of presented itself about midway through grad school, we kind of started talking about what a full-time position could look like. And it wasn't a position at the time, it was being created. So I was like, yeah, this sounds great. So took that position as soon as it was created and ready for me. And it happened to be right when I was graduating with my master's. And I haven't looked back since. I love being there. Extension is a great, place to be, and it's truly special. And so now I'm getting a PhD in animal and natural resource sciences through Tarleton State University. I just started that in January to ultimately further my career with Extension is the goal. So big old long story, but starting as a livestock ambassador when I was 15 years old single-handedly got me here, which has just been a blessing that I didn't even know I was looking for. Or, that was a God thing. It just happened and put me right where I want to be, right where I need to be. So very, very thankful for that little trip.
A little bit full circle, and you are definitely a
Truly.
lifelong learner. I mean, you just keep finding your way back in and just growing and expanding, and now you're in that PhD program. You must love it, or you wouldn't be going back and continuing on your educational path here.
I do. I love it. I love school. And like you said, I love to just always learn something new. It is exhausting with a full-time job, I'll say that. But yeah, I have absolutely enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to it's hopefully I'll be done in about 3 years. So it'll be a little journey here that we're embarking on, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, I do love to learn and always kind of get better in this field.
Oh, it'll be totally worth it. You can sleep later. Don't
Right,
worry about
exactly.
it.
No doubt.
I love you mentioned in there that they sort of created this position. So they were, it was perfect timing because you were kind of graduating with your master's and they were creating this position. I love to talk to people who have newly created positions and sort of ask, how that has manifested for you, because sometimes it's really hard to be in a new position, like when they're creating a new role and, the organization is trying to fulfill a need and they're not quite sure the exact fit that they need. So
Right.
how has that worked for you? Have you seen that in your role, trying to just like grow with the role as the role has been developed and changing as well?
Honestly, I've been really lucky. The growing pains have not been that bad for me, which has been great. So all through school, they always said, there's so many positions out there that you could have that aren't even created yet. And I was like, really? Come on, like that's not really the case. I know we can say that and that sounds cool, but that's not really the case. That is absolutely the case. That's exactly what happened with me. But I'm still working with Dr. Billy Zanolini and Dr. Dottie Gable, both of which were there when Dottie had come in right after I was finished with my ambassador experience, but Dr. Zanolini had been there the whole time. And so I'm working with people that I've known for 10 years, and they are absolutely the best two people to work for. I just love being with them, and they have single-handedly made it such a great experience. So I've had a lot of freedom to kind of grow and just kind of make these programs as big and as great as we want them to be. And that's been a lot of fun. I think to answer your question, it's not been as big of a challenge for me as maybe I expected it to be, or as maybe a lot of other situations would be. But I think that's a true testament to the people I'm working with and the kind of mission that we were built on. It's pretty steadfast, and that helps to paint a pretty clear picture of where we're going moving forward.
Well, I think a piece of that is a tribute to the professional development topic that you wanted to talk about today, and that is building those relationships and taking advantage of every opportunity, both of which you have done, and you keep echoing back to those great doctors that are helping you in this role and giving you the opportunities to make it and take it and run with it and go in the places that it needs to go. So talk to us about that. Talk to us about relationships and opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that I believe in. It's so simple, such a simple concept. It's really easy to say, just take advantage of every opportunity. And it's hard to do because we're all busy and we all have an idea of what we're looking for. But I think taking those chances, taking that student worker position created all of this. Applying to be an ambassador, I actually didn't make it. The first time I applied for the program, I didn't make it in, and applied my sophomore year again and got in. So just I don't know. There's so many things in my life. The ranch horse team at Texas A&M, I didn't really hit on that yet, but I went to school and didn't know, what I really wanted to do with a horse, but I knew I needed a horse because I love horses. And so I didn't really want to rodeo. My barrel horse was retired at that point. And so I was like, man, what can I do at A&M that's with horses? But maybe that's something new, because rodeoing was all I really knew up to that point. And so I had just another kind of God moment, I guess, in my senior year of high school. Two girls from the Texas A&M ranch horse team came to our county show and did a little clinic, and just got to talking to them. And I was like, man, that is such a neat thing that they're doing. And so I kind of started searching and Googling and trying to figure out what I needed to do to prepare for that. Met with the coach and tried to get some lessons, because again, I had no idea anything about a ranch horse or a cow horse up until that point. And just tried to set myself up as best I could for the tryouts. And then lo and behold, thank goodness everything worked out great and got on that team, and that just absolutely shaped me again into who I am today. Met so many incredible people that have continued to open doors. My very best friends, we just spent the weekend in Fort Worth at the World's Greatest Horseman with so many of my old teammates that we all try to get back together every, twice a year to watch those big events in Fort Worth. So all of those little things that I just, at the time, they felt like they were just going to get me to the place I wanted to be tomorrow. And then they turned into a lifelong kind of transformation. And it's all because I took the opportunity when it came to me and just said, you know what, let's just give it a whirl and see if this is the route that we need to go on. So it could change your life to accept an opportunity like that. And you don't even know that it could, you don't think that it could, you almost think that it couldn't. But it definitely did for me. And I think that could be the case for a lot of others. And that's something that we try to get into our students' minds too, is just do things. And if you don't like it, then at least you found out you don't like it, and you know what you don't want to do. So yeah, I think, making connections, meeting people, taking those chances, and just seeing what happens is part of the fun of being young and being able to do that. And I think it's really, really important for development.
You're never going to know if you don't try, right? It's kind of that
No
old
doubt.
adage, like those opportunities are there for a reason, and at least you can learn from them and say, well, I did it, I didn't like it, and now I know that I don't like it. Or, hey, maybe you did it and you're like, dang, that was pretty cool. I want to learn more. I want to try it again. I want to, lean into it. I also think that horses are sort of that great equalizer that help build community, right? Like you're saying, you're going out and watching those, like the world's greatest horsemen, and like getting together with your crew, like being horseback and like finding your community of like-minded horse people. Gosh, it is like some of the easiest community to build and just be assimilated within so quickly. And it makes it like less threatening, I guess, to take some of those opportunities and challenges, because you're like, I'm with horse people. Let's do it.
Yes, for sure. I'm a naturally very shy person. I'm not the most outgoing when I walk into a room, but man, if I can find someone that I can connect about horses, or connect with about horses, that'll change the game for me. I'm immediately comfortable. And that's just kind of the gift that a horse is to us, I think, is just that conversation starter, that just comfort. I am my very best when I'm around horses, and I love that. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
They truly are the best, and people who love them are the best people. We might be biased. Kelly and Katie might be slightly biased.
Towards some horse people.
Exactly. Well, so are you still actively competing in like ranch horse events?
I am not currently. So when I got off the team, when I graduated with my master's, I just decided to take a little break, primarily just to kind of get my career going. I travel so much. I was spending as much time trying to line somebody up to feed when I wasn't here as I was feeding her myself. So just taking a little break here, trying to get all of this squared away and lined out. And then just as soon as I can afford the really nice one that I want, all those good things, I will be right back into it. I cannot wait to show again, just to have a horse again, and just to be able to go through those motions. I think waking up to feed early and staying at the barn late, with friends is what makes that experience so special. So yeah, I'm just counting down the days until I can get back to that.
Oh, I love that. But I'm really glad that I asked you that question and that you went into that, because I think there's a lot of people out there who are focused on their career and are in this chapter of life where things are really busy and your job requires you to travel, and like owning a horse is just not in the cards for all those reasons you just said, right? Like trying to get somebody to just look after them while you're gone, and the stress of that. And I just don't want anybody who's listening, like, you're not alone. Just know, like, if you find yourself in that chapter, don't feel bad about it. Like, embrace this too, because this is a fun chapter to be in. And you're not being selfish for wanting to invest in yourself and your career. And that doesn't mean that you have to have a horse standing outside ready to go compete and still be connected with the industry. You can do both. And there's time. You can always come back to it and, get that horse and, build that purse. Like you said, your checkbooks, you can go out and buy a really nice one. It's a fun chapter of life to be in, even if you're like craving that daily connection with a horse. It'll come. It'll 100% come.
I agree. And I always tell myself, I'm doing what I'm doing right now so that I don't have to be in this position ever again. So I can always have the means and the schedule and the ability to have one. But like you mentioned, I mean, it takes time to just get to a point where you can, be comfortable and be able to do all of those things. Horses are incredible, and they're expensive, and they're time consuming. And it's just, there's a lot that goes with being a horse, a horse owner, and showing horses and all of those things. So like you said, I think it's important to take the time where you can to focus on yourself and your career and setting yourself up to be able to have those horse experiences for the rest of your life. That's what I keep telling myself. This is just a season, and then I'll never have to live without one again. So
And what a fun season to be in. Even horseless, you have a really cool job and you're getting to build some amazing memories along the way. So even at the end of the day, like that alone is worth it. I think you'll look back on this chapter and think, I am so glad that I did that because I got to go here and there and meet these people and help build these, high schoolers and youth programs and 4-H and be part of that journey. Now's the time, right? Now's the time to do
Yes.
it.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm so thankful that my job lets me stay in the industry and stay connected. And so I also, with this role, I do Texas 4-H horse validation and then help with the Texas 4-H state horse show, both of which obviously allow me to work with horses and horse owners and kids. And so that I'm so lucky. I'm very, very lucky. And I recognize that I get to kind of stay in the industry and stay around horses and at least get my fix in little doses here and there. But yeah, it's super special and it's something that I'm very thankful for.
No, it's a fun place to be. I love that for you. I just can't wait to like meet you in person and to celebrate together when we head down to Fort Worth for Cowgirl 30 Under 30. I can't wait. I'm counting down the days.
I'm so excited. It's going to be such a blast. I can't wait to meet 29 incredible women like yourself that are just blazing their own path, and I'm so excited to get there and to meet all of you in person. And yeah, it's gonna be a time. I'm really excited.
It's going to be a hoot. And I bet you we talk about horses. I'm just guessing.
100% chance. Yes. Yes.
For sure. Oh my gosh. Well, Kelley, thank you so, so much for coming on the show and talking to us about your career, bringing us all of your Aggie love. It was really great to get to all the way into it and talk about Texas A&M and the great programs that you were part of. I really appreciate you taking the time. And I know that our listeners are going to get a lot out of your experience, and we can't wait to see what you do next.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me and for having me and for letting me kind of spill all of my love for horses and love for Aggie land and all of those good things. So I really appreciate you, Katie, and I look forward to meeting you soon.
Thanks for riding along in this episode of Beyond the Saddle with Kelley Ranly. Stay tuned for more episodes with COWGIRL Magazine's 30 Under 30.